It's a sure sign of spring. Garden tools. Break them out of the storage and put them to work. Whether it's a shovel or a weeding rake, they're sure necessary when it's time to work in that backyard. But did you know you can also put them to play? Hi there, Grant McComey here, your host for Travel Oregon's Grant's Getaways. And this week, we learn all about putting garden implements to work in the great outdoors as we head to the Oregon coast on a falling tide where supper is served as we learn all about horsenecks, quahogs, and steamer clams. Some say Oregon's springtime low tides are the best.
Any of the really good low tides in daylight can work out.
For that's when the dinner table is set.
Some people like to get here as early as possible and, have more digging opportunity, follow that tide down as it goes out to look for new areas that are, just recently exposed and then work it back up if they need to.
Butter clams. They like this gravel shale to live in. They don't get in the sand very often.
Norm and Bonnie Clough agree that First Light clam diggers get the first choice across Tillamook's exposed sand and gravel bars. Your technique is?
Keep digging. Usually if they're thick enough that you can just keep digging a hole and keep getting bigger and bigger till you get your limit of clams.
The Cloughs have been digging their dinner and having fun on the bay for more than 60 years, so a 4 a.m. wake-up call is no big deal. So how does he persuade you to go clam digging?
He turns on the light.
April and May's super low tides are favored times for digging. Horsenecks, quahogs, and steamers, with tools usually used in the garden. Do you feel guilty you're not using the shovel and your rake in the garden?
No guilt. He does the garden.
When there's clamming to be done, it's always too wet to work in the garden. So.
These are the cockles and these are the gapers, or sometimes they're known as the blues.
Local guide and marina owner Jeff Folkma shows off prized blues or horsenecks. These are gaper clams because of the gape in the shell where the neck pokes through.
I've seen them bigger than this, and there's quite a few that are actually smaller than this, but this is a pretty average size for out there. There's a lot of meat in there. I don't know how much that weighs, but it's a good sized clam. Number one, you need a shellfish license. Number two, each person that is harvesting has to have their own container, whether it's a bucket or a bread bag or whatever. You can't lump a family of 4's clams all into one bucket. Otherwise, that one person carrying the bucket is over their possession limit. You can wear rubber boots, but a lot of times just take a pair of old tinny runners that you don't really care about, and you can always wash the sand off and dry off. It's just a fun deal. I'm real happy we're gonna have clams tonight.
Your clam digging gets easier when you look for information boards on the way down to the clam beds. You can see the clams and the regulations.
If you're digging, you really should know what you're after so that you can understand the regulations surrounding that species.
Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife biologist Mitch Vance says that abundant food, reliable cold, clean water contribute to perfect habitat for horsenecks, quahogs, and steamers.
If you're 14 or older, you need your shellfish harvest license. You should have your own container. There are the daily bag limits, 20 bay clams per day per person, and 12 of those 20 can be the gapers or the blue clams.
My reward.
Good morning exercise. I love it. It is so fun. And they're good eating.
Those are nice ones. You cut that muscle, and you got tons of clam in there.
And the reward is delicious.
Egg and cracker crumb and a little bit of onion in there. Chop it up rather than grind it up. Make your fritters that way and fry them on a skillet.
Pretty good?
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, they're great.
It's really good for families. It's easy to do, not a lot of gear necessary. Get the kids in some boots and get them out there and have some fun in the sand.
Most of Oregon's estuaries are perfectly suited to bay clamming, so you've plenty of opportunity to put your garden tools to the test this spring. And if you decide to go, be sure to check a tide table and plan your visit a couple of hours before the low tide. And remember, 14 years and over, an Oregon shellfish license is required. And about that clam fritter recipe, it is exceptional, and we provided the details right here on the Travel Oregon website. And while you're there, be sure to check out Adventurecation. It's springtime in Oregon, and we're outdoors enjoying many adventures. For details on special travel deals and creating an Oregon Adventurecation, visit traveloregon.com. So until next week, get out here and enjoy the great Oregon outdoors, perhaps with a shovel or a weeding rake, and dig your own supper from the sea. For Travel Oregon, I'm Grant McComey.